that no, America knows who our friends are and we're going to stand with those friends. And unfortunately, he decided that he wanted to talk about his clothes.
It's been a roller coaster week in the political world, with tensions escalating between two of the most talked about figures in American politics, Donald Trump and Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. In a heated exchange that sent shockwaves through social media and beyond, Trump launched a blistering attack on Crockett, calling her a lowlife and accusing her of spreading lies. But what exactly triggered this outburst? The explosive moment came after Crockett, never one to hold back her words, made a bold remark that rubbed the former president the wrong way. With her no-nonsense style, Crockett has earned a reputation for speaking truth to power, and she didn't hesitate to go toe-to-toe with Trump. Stick around because we're diving deep into the back and forth between Crockett and Trump, and trust me, this is a political clash you won't want to miss. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more updates, because the drama's just getting started. The fallout of Crockett's comments. Jasmine Crockett, a rising star in the Democratic Party, has become a key figure in the political discourse surrounding former President Donald Trump. Known for her no-holds-barred approach, Crockett did not hold back in an interview with political commentator Joe Galena, where she made pointed remarks about Trump's relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Crockett, in her characteristic blunt manner, referred to Trump as Putin's little hoe, and accused him of betraying America's allies, particularly during a time of heightened geopolitical tensions. This bold statement added fuel to an already volatile political landscape, intensifying the criticism of Trump's foreign policy during his presidency. Crockett's comment was not merely an isolated outburst, but part of a larger narrative she has crafted about Trump's approach to international relations. The Democratic representative has been an outspoken critic of Trump's policies on Ukraine and his generally favorable stance towards authoritarian regimes. In her view, Trump's actions and rhetoric over his 4 years in office served to undermine democratic values and embolden hostile leaders like Putin. Crockett's assessment was timely, coming as the U.S. continues to grapple with global challenges, such as the war in Ukraine and rising tensions with China. To her, Trump's diplomacy, especially regarding Ukraine, posed a direct threat to American influence and security. What made Crockett's remarks particularly incendiary was her choice of language and the way she framed her argument. Calling Trump Putin's little hoe was a stark attack not only on his foreign policy, but also on his character. By invoking such an image, Crockett was attempting to underscore what she believes was an undignified relationship between Trump and Putin. This bold rhetoric struck a chord with many in her base, particularly those who felt that Trump's presidency weakened America's standing on the global stage. For Crockett, it was about more than just personal animus. It was a statement about the future of America's role in the world and the importance of a principled foreign policy. Trump's response to Crockett's comments was swift and personal. In an interview with conservative radio host Vince Coglianese, Trump dismissed Crockett as a lowlife and claimed that she was spreading falsehoods. Trump's usual strategy of counterattacking those who criticize him came into play, with him claiming that any Democrat who embraced such fiery rhetoric would lead their party to ruin. His dismissal of Crockett was not only an attempt to discredit her personally, but also an effort to undermine the broader Democratic Party's direction. By framing her critique as dangerous and divisive, Trump sought to paint the Democratic Party as out of touch with the mainstream electorate. The fallout from Crockett's comments has been significant, further entrenching the polarized divide between the political parties. While Crockett's supporters view her as a fearless advocate for the principles of democracy and global cooperation, her critics see her as contributing to the toxic nature of political discourse. On a larger scale, the exchange between Crockett and Trump highlights the ongoing ideological battle over America's role in the world and the influence of strong, often divisive personalities in shaping political dialogue. As the 2024 election approaches, the rhetoric surrounding figures like Crockett and Trump will undoubtedly continue to shape the political landscape. The Governor Hot Wheels controversy. Jasmine Crockett's controversial remarks about Texas Governor Greg Abbott added yet another layer of drama to the already fiery political atmosphere. During a speech at the Human Rights Campaign Los Angeles dinner, Crockett referred to Abbott as Governor Hot Wheels, a comment that quickly made headlines for its insensitive nature. The jab, which targeted Abbott's use of a wheelchair following a 1984 accident that left him paralyzed, sparked widespread outrage. Critics of Crockett, especially those in Abbott's camp, condemned her remark as cruel and disrespectful, while others defended her, pointing out that she was simply making a political point. Crockett, however, stood firm, refusing to apologize for the comment and instead doubling down on her position. Crockett's words reignited a heated public debate. For many, her comment crossed a line, with accusations of ableism surfacing in the media. Using Abbott's disability as the punchline of a political joke seemed to many like an attack on his character rather than a legitimate criticism of his policies. However, Crockett and her supporters argued that the remark wasn't meant to be taken literally, but was intended to highlight Abbott's political actions and his record as governor. For Crockett, Abbott's policies, particularly on issues like abortion and health care, were far more offensive than the comment about his disability. Still, the backlash was swift, and many viewed her remark as a needless distraction from the important issues at hand. As the controversy surrounding Crockett's comment gained momentum, former President Donald Trump weighed in, further escalating the conflict. In an interview with conservative radio host Vince Coglianese, Trump called Crockett low IQ and accused her of lying about the context of her remarks. Trump's criticism, as usual, was personal and sharp. He quickly seized on the controversy to attack Crockett, painting her as a symbol of the divisive and extreme rhetoric that he believes is taking over the Democratic Party. Trump's remarks served to fuel the growing animosity between him and Crockett, with both sides taking jabs at one another in a war of words that seemed to have no end in sight. However, the dispute between Crockett and Abbott was not just about a single insult. It was part of a larger political battle unfolding in Texas, where Crockett and other progressive leaders are challenging the conservative stronghold that has defined the state for decades. Abbott, a staunch conservative, has been a constant target for Texas Democrats, and Crockett's remark, whether intended or not, served as another round in the ongoing political struggle. Abbott's position as governor has made him a key figure in Texas's political landscape, and every new attack from Crockett and her allies serves to further highlight the stark ideological divide between the state's leadership and the growing progressive movement. In many ways, the controversy surrounding Governor Hot Wheels encapsulated the broader political culture wars that are playing out across the country. It wasn't just about one comment or one politician. It was about the larger battle for control over the direction of the nation's politics. The exchange between Crockett, Abbott, and Trump only intensified this struggle, with each side using the controversy to score political points and galvanize their respective bases. Crockett's rise to prominence. Jasmine Crockett's ascent in Texas politics is a testament to her unwavering commitment to justice and equality. Born on March 29, 1981 in St. Louis, Missouri, Crockett pursued higher education at Rhodes College, where a series of hate crimes targeting her and her peers ignited her passion for law. This experience led her to the University of Houston Law Center, culminating in a Juris Doctor degree. She began her legal career as a public defender in Bowie County, Texas, advocating for juveniles and striving to prevent unjust incarcerations. Transitioning to politics, Crockett was elected to the Texas House of Representatives in 2021, representing the 100th District. There, she championed progressive causes, focusing on voting rights, social justice, and criminal justice reform. Her leadership was pivotal during the Texas Democrats' quorum break, aiming to block restrictive voting legislation. She also played a significant role in pushing for the John Lewis Voting Rights and Restoration Act and the For the People Act at the federal level. In January 2023, Crockett began serving Texas's 30th congressional district in the U.S. House of Representatives. Her district encompasses much of South Dallas County, Central Dallas, Dallas Love Field Airport, and a portion of Tarrant County. Citaturn 0 Search 8. As a freshman congresswoman, she quickly distinguished herself with her forthright demeanor and dedication to progressive ideals. Crockett's legislative agenda includes advocating for voting rights, addressing systemic racial injustices, and promoting comprehensive criminal justice reform. Beyond her legislative duties, Crockett's influence extends to national platforms. She served as the Democratic freshman class representative, bridging communication between new members and House leadership. In 2024, she co-chaired the Harris-Walz campaign, demonstrating her strategic acumen within the party. Her affiliation with the Congressional Progressive Caucus aligns with her advocacy for policies addressing climate change, reproductive rights, and equitable economic development. Crockett's journey from a public defender to a prominent political figure reflects her steadfast dedication to public service. Her unflinching pursuit of justice and equality continues to resonate with constituents, solidifying her status as a formidable force in Texas and national politics. Trump's response to the attacks. When Jasmine Crockett made her scathing comments about former President Donald Trump, it didn't take long for him to respond. True to form, Trump didn't shy away from the confrontation and quickly fired back, labeling Crockett a lowlife during an interview with conservative radio host Vince Coglianese. Trump's retort was sharp and personal, a familiar tactic he often employs when faced with criticism. He accused Crockett of lying about the context of her remarks, casting doubt on her integrity and claiming that her attack was part of a broader effort to discredit him. Trump's response wasn't just about defending his honor or refuting the specific details of Crockett's comments. It was a larger attempt to undermine her political credibility. In his trademark style, he made sweeping claims, suggesting that if the Democratic Party were to elevate someone like Crockett to a position of leadership, it would be the end of their electoral prospects. He argued that her extreme rhetoric was a liability for the party and that Democrats would never win an election again if they followed her lead. The former president's critique, though harsh, seemed designed not only to discredit Crockett, but also to serve as a warning to the broader Democratic Party. By attacking Crockett so fiercely, Trump positioned her as a symbol of the party's more radical wing, framing her comments as an example of what he saw as divisive and irresponsible behavior. His remarks were a clear attempt to paint Crockett as part of a larger trend of extreme anti-Trump rhetoric coming from the left. Crockett, however, was not one to back down. She didn't take kindly to Trump's insults, and her response reflected her no-nonsense style. Crockett's resilience in the face of such personal attacks only fueled the political tension between the two figures. While Trump sought to diminish her influence and discredit her, Crockett used the opportunity to double down on her critiques, particularly about his policies and his handling of foreign relations. The back and forth between Trump and Crockett exemplified the ongoing culture of intense political polarization in the United States. With each exchange, both sides solidified their positions. Trump, as a staunch defender of his legacy and political influence, and Crockett, as a fearless progressive voice challenging the status quo. The bigger picture. At the core of the escalating conflict between Jasmine Crockett and Donald Trump is a much broader struggle for political influence and control. Crockett's rise in Texas politics signals a potential shift toward a more progressive agenda, challenging the conservative grip that has held sway over the state for decades. Texas, long considered a Republican stronghold, has seen a gradual but growing wave of progressive movements, and Crockett, with her unapologetic stance on issues like criminal justice reform, voting rights, and healthcare, embodies this change. Her outspoken nature and focus on challenging the status quo have made her a prominent voice within the Democratic Party, particularly among younger, more left-leaning constituents who seek to reshape not only Texas but the country as a whole. Crockett's ascent is part of a larger trend of Democratic figures pushing for more radical changes, especially in states traditionally dominated by conservatives. Her leadership challenges the narrative of Texas as a red state and signals a shift that could potentially have long-lasting effects on the state's political landscape. However, as she makes her mark, she is encountering fierce resistance from the likes of Trump, who sees her as a direct threat to the political order he has worked so hard to maintain within the Republican Party. Trump's attacks on Crockett are more than just personal insults. They represent a broader struggle to preserve the direction of American politics. By discrediting Crockett and attacking her character, Trump is attempting to solidify his control over the Republican Party, making it clear that anyone who stands against him or threatens his influence will face fierce opposition. Trump's remarks about Crockett also reflect his larger strategy of positioning himself as the protector of traditional conservative values, while trying to portray progressives like Crockett as radical and out of touch with mainstream America. This back and forth is emblematic of the larger political battle at play, a fight between a conservative establishment, embodied by figures like Trump, and a rising progressive movement pushing for systemic change. Crockett's bold remarks, as well as her legislative efforts, are not just about making noise. They represent a clear challenge to the policies that have long shaped the nation's political fabric. Whether or not her actions will lead to a major shift in the Democratic Party remains uncertain, but her refusal to back down against Trump's attacks signals that she is prepared to be a key player in shaping the future of American politics. In the end, the true stakes of this conflict are not just about two individuals or their clash of personalities. It's about the larger ideological battle for the direction of the country, with Crockett representing one side of a divided political spectrum and Trump leading the charge on the other. This ongoing feud only underscores the heightened polarization and the high stakes involved in the next phase of American politics. Crockett's next moves. Looking ahead, it's clear that Crockett's political journey is just beginning. Her fearless approach to politics and her willingness to challenge powerful figures like Trump and Abbott have earned her a reputation as a force to be reckoned with. But will her outspoken style help her rise to greater prominence, or will it alienate potential allies? One thing is certain: Crockett isn't afraid to make waves. Whether it's taking on Trump, criticizing Abbott, or challenging the status quo in Texas, she's proving that she's willing to stand up for what she believes in, no matter the cost. As the political landscape continues to shift, it will be fascinating to watch how Crockett's career unfolds, and whether she can continue to make her mark on the national stage. As the feud between Trump and Crockett continues to evolve, it's clear that both sides are digging in for the long haul. For Crockett, this battle is about more than just political differences. It's about standing up for the values she believes in and fighting for a better future for her constituents. For Trump, it's about defending his legacy and maintaining his grip on the Republican Party. Only time will tell who will come out on top in this epic clash. But one thing is certain: the drama is far from over. As we look ahead to the next chapter in this political showdown, we'll be watching closely to see how Crockett's words and actions continue to shape the national conversation. Will she continue to stand up to Trump, or will the former president's attacks prove too much to handle? Stay tuned, because this is a battle that's sure to keep everyone talking for a long time. In the world of politics, few things are more thrilling than a battle of words between two powerful figures. And when that battle involves Donald Trump and Jasmine Crockett, you know it's going to be explosive. Whether you agree with Crockett's fiery rhetoric or not, there's no denying that her words have shaken up the political landscape. As this feud continues to unfold, we'll be here to bring you the latest updates. Keep your eyes on this drama, because with Trump and Crockett, anything can happen. Don't forget to hit the like button if you're enjoying this deep dive into the Trump-Crockett saga. Drop a comment below. What do you think of Crockett's bold remarks? Is she right to call out Trump, or is she taking it too far? Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss a single update on this ongoing political showdown.